Hey there, 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. Your assignment this week is to make a color wheel out of any item that you want, but you have to draw that item. So one thing that I would recommend is getting something that is circular to start off your color wheel. So I just turned to one of the blank pages here in the sketchbook that I gave to all of you that was in with your distance learning stuff in the Chromebook bags. Most of you have been posting photos with it, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. But that first thing, you're gonna need a circle. So I have a coaster here that is a smaller circle that'll fit in the middle of my page. And then what I'm first going to do is just trace it with a pencil very lightly. And after you have it traced, then you have a template of a circle to go off of for your color wheel. The next step that I'm going to do is take a piece of paper and cut it to make my image on, to make a stencil. So something you can do is you can go to one of the back pages in your sketchbook and you can cut out a little portion of this paper in the back. And I think I'm gonna do that. Another thing you can do if you have some extra paper at home, you can just use that instead of using your sketchbook paper. Now that I have that done, I'm going to start making my item that I want to do. You can do an animal, you can do different art materials, you could do a letter, but you're gonna need 6 of those items. So that's why I suggest making a template, so then you're only drawing it really once. I'm gonna make a crayon. So mine's gonna be a little bit shorter and stubbier of a crayon, but I'm gonna have it be like that big. And then it's rounded at the bottom. It's a little rounded at the top, and then it comes off into a point. So here's my item. I'm going to add some little details that I know I want on my crayon while I am doing this, because then after I do it, I'll have that template to go off of. So a couple more squiggly lines, and there's my crayon. So what I'm gonna do now is cut this out. And after you have it cut out, you're gonna trace it 6 times around the circle. But remember that the color wheel has a specific order. So the colors aren't just anywhere on the paper or on the color wheel. They have a specific place that they go so that it makes sense when you are color mixing. So I'm gonna have my crayons come this way. And I'm not going to add those details yet because I think I'm going to do those with my materials. If you only have a pencil at home, you can do it with a pencil to just make the color wheel. I know that that's going to be a little bit tricky, adding the colors if you only have a pencil. I think a majority of you, though, have at least crayons. So get as close as you can to those primary and secondary colors, and you'll be good. So you're gonna notice I didn't go one after the other, right? So on our color wheel that's in the classroom, it has a certain order. So it's like a triangle for the primary colors, and then like an upside down triangle for the secondary colors. So I'm going to add each of these, and then I'm gonna mark which one's which. So I like starting with red at the top, so very lightly with my pencil, I'm going to add an R. And then I'm going to put Y down here for yellow and B for blue. after you have your primaries, then you can make the other 3 crayons that are going to make up your secondary colors. And notice that the secondary colors go in between those primary colors. And we're going to talk about in a second, you can't just add any color to one of these. There's an order to it. So now, in order to help you with color mixing, something that's awesome that the color wheel has is that the 2 primaries on either side make the secondary that's on the inside. So I've got red and blue, that makes purple or violet. I've got red and yellow, which makes orange, and then blue and yellow, which makes green. Once you have all of this done, what you're gonna do is you can erase some of these little pencil marks, and as you go with drawing on your crayons or letter or whatever you want to do for your color wheel, you're going to start at the top and go around. So I have red, so I think my red I'm going to do with my marker. I'm going to erase that red letter and trace around to go make the entire thing red. And remember, this is your big project for the week. There's little things that I post throughout the week, but this one's your big one, so take your time, do your best work, and remember, even at home, you're still doing the best that you can do and trying your best, because that's all I can ask for, right? So I have the red down. I'm going to show you how I'm going to finish off this crayon, and then however I do this, that's how these ones are going to look as well. I don't want to make you guys watch a long video though of me coloring in each of these, so I've also attached a photo of the finished product when I am all done with it. The next step that I'm going to do for the crayon is, if you remember, I have these lines that I did on my base one. I'm going to add those lines with a black crayon. And if you have different materials at home, then you can add different details with different materials. And I think it always looks pretty cool. It gives it a little bit of a different texture, because the smooth texture from the marker is not the same as the rough texture from a black crayon, obviously. Another thing that you guys can play around with is, I saw that a lot of you have different types of materials at home. So you have paints and things like that too. This paper is our mixed media paper, so if you are using the paper in your sketchbook, you can use paints on it as well. So you could actually mix the red and blue paint to make a purple color. So that's up to you. That's kind of an extra step and it's not required, but if you want to go that extra mile, that would be great. Remember, you have the whole week to finish these projects, so do your best, and by Friday you should have everything posted on Seesaw or on the Google Classroom. I will put docs on some of the posts so that you have the option to turn it in on Google Classroom, but if it says to post it on Seesaw, then you're just going to follow those steps on the activity on Seesaw and post it there. Alright, I am almost done. And one last thing that I am going to do with my crayon that I want you to do as well is, you're going to take either a black marker, black colored pencil, black crayon, and you're just going to outline around your item that you chose. And after you have outlined around the item, it's going to look a lot better. You're also going to be adding black to these lines as well. If you have a Sharpie at home, you could use a Sharpie, but I'm using the basic materials for everybody who doesn't have the more extravagant materials. I would love you guys to use different paints or oil pastels or whatever, but it's only if you have them at home. It's not required. So here's your project. Don't just get it done in 5 minutes and send it my way. If I start getting a lot of those, I'm gonna have you guys redo it. So remember to take your time. All right, bye.